Hello everybody, welcome back to Wolfeei Extras. Today we're going to be looking at a YouTube comment, but before I do that, by the way it's about MCC, so before I do that, I saw this post while scrolling through the Reddit to find a post to talk about before talking about the actual topic of the video. There's a themed team that this person made called the Emerald Event Organizers, and I'm not there. What are you doing? Why am I not here? Come on, I know, I actually do know everyone on this team somewhat. I guess I don't really know Silver, but put me on the team. What are you doing? I'm supposed to be on this team. What other teams have you made? I don't even know what that means. Who? Oh, hardcore? Yeah, that makes sense. Sure. Could this be MCC 29 Aqua? I don't think Booster will be in the first one, but if he is, that's dope because Booster is cool. All right, this is the topic of today's video. I got this comment, and I thought I would look into it about how you know, MCC values like a good performance. I'll read through this. There's some harder terms in this. I'll try to explain. I didn't understand it on my first attempt of reading, but I think I've got it. So let's get started. Wolfeei, I'm interested in your opinion on a topic I recently discussed in the subreddit regarding how MCC values volatility over consistency. Pretty sure volatility means the average from like peaks and low, like from good performance and bad performance and the average. I think that's what that means. Regardless. Basically, because of game multipliers, having an average or bad performance in games 7 or 8 are essentially equal if another team has a pop-off, thus making well-rounded players overrated in their MCC utility by coin averages because of the reduced volatility across games, making a clutch, dominant performance less likely. Pretty sure what they're supposed to, or what they mean to say here, is if someone does bad in one of the games, but does good in other games, their score will be averaged out to a degree where their pop-off moment won't be as valuable. I think I could be wrong. I'm trying to understand, but my little pea brain hasn't seen a lot of these words in a couple of years. So I'm trying my best. This also somewhat explains why role players such as Grian or Foolish are uncharacteristically valued based on their overall skill, because they can produce a dominant build or meltdown performance respectively, which has the potential to be the catalyst for a dodgeable performance. Basically saying they can carry their team. However, that they don't get valued for, or they don't get rewarded for that. Well, we'll look into it in a bit. This is an especially important quality in S tiers as well that gets overlooked because people mostly just look at team placements, coin averages, and individual placements. Thoughts? So, if I'm understanding this correctly, which, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, basically what you're saying is that you discussed that players who do really well in one game, but not as well in other games, so that if you don't do well, or if you do bad in one of the games or average in one of the games and then do really well in another game, that averages out to a point where the really good performance isn't as valuable or something. I could totally be wrong, but I get kind of what you mean. Because well-rounded players overrated in their MCC utility by coin averages because of the reduced volatility across games, making a clutch dominant performance less likely. Hold up. So, you're saying that average players are overrated? Or well-rounded, I mean. Well-rounded players are overrated, well-rounded being that someone is good at a lot of things, or most things in some cases. Look at... Can I give a good example? Look at Fruit Berries. He's good at parkour or movement, and he's good at PvP. That's pretty well-rounded. there's other skills as well. I don't know if there isn't really a single player who is good at everything, like, or who is like the best at everything. I'd say the closest to that is like an H-bomb or a Fire Breath Man. Those are like close because they've got PvP, they got parkour or movement, they've got teamwork, they've got I don't know if H-bomb's good at build mart, but if he is, then he will have that as well. So that's what you would mean with a well-rounded. But I just mentioned someone who's really good at everything, someone who's decent at everything, doesn't really have a flaw, a game like not a bad one. So are these people overrated because of the multipliers? Because if you do well, how does that affect multipliers though? I guess or how does multipliers take effect in that? So basically, you're saying because the game multipliers for game 7 or 8 is 2.5 times. If you have an average or bad performance in that, it's essentially equal if another team has a pop off. Hold up. I'm not quite sure what this means. So if you do bad in game 7 or 8, it is essentially equal to if a different team or another team has a pop-off, which doesn't sound right unless you mean a pop-off in an earlier game, which that would make sense, which is true. If survival games is game 1 and you get 3,000 coins from... That's a bit much, isn't it? I know when my team won survival games in my last test that I won, we got like 1.6 thousand coins as a team, which is okay. For game 1, it's really good. I'm pretty sure, actually, it might have been more. No, I think we won by 1.6k. I don't remember. I might have to look that up later. We got like between 2 and 3,000, I think. So let's say you have 2,000 coins for game 1 as a team, which is really good. That means every single person on your team, on average, got 500 points for game 1. By the way, if you were to get 500 points individually for every single game, you would break 4,000 coins. So that's really good, right? And then if you do bad in Sands of Time, you could also get 2,000 coins as a team. So that would be equal. So I get what you mean. If that is what you mean, then that is true. Coin multipliers compensate. Coin multipliers make it so if you do bad in one of the final games, that score could be equal to doing really well in one of the first games. However, that is only really unfair if you look at it at face value, because there's 7 or 9 other teams that also perform. MCC, it's hard to really work that in, right? Because I do agree that consistency or well-rounded players often just get really high scores, or for a team they'll do really well. Individually, multipliers do not take effect, so I don't think that really makes a difference. But when you're talking about like individual performance in value to your team, sure, yeah, a multiplier can throw that off. For example, Sands of Time commonly played last or at the end. If someone's really good at that, that is very valuable, because if you're really good at the game that rewards or that has the biggest multiplier, that is extremely valuable for your team. If you're bad at Sands of Time, but good at everything else, and Sands of Time is always last, you are missing out on the biggest reward for coins. So more often than not, you will probably be seen as less skillful compared to other players if they are really good at that, I guess, right? I guess that, I don't know. I think that would make sense. So this also somewhat explains why role players such as Green or Foolish are uncharacteristically valued based on their overall skill, because they can produce a dominant build mart or meltdown performance respectively, which has the potential to be the catalyst for a dodgeable performance. Let's see. So are you meaning to say that they should be... So hold up. Also, someone explains why role players such as green or foolish are uncharacteristically valued. So you mean that they're... Okay, I think I get what you mean. The value that they bring to a team by being that good at Build Mart or that good at Meltdown or helping a team be that good at Build Mart or Meltdown isn't translated into numbers when it comes to score. Green being good at Meltdown helps the team, but individually, he doesn't change much from that. Rather, he actually negatively affects his teammates, funnily enough, because their average Build Mart score is going to be higher because he's helping them. For example, this is going to be a really silly example, but I'm going to make it. Dream, I don't know if he was bad at Build Mart, but let's say he was. If Dream was really bad at Build Mart, but he was teamed with Grian, and they do really well because they have Grian, Dream's average in Build Mart is going to go up. His average total is going to go up because it's a split team game, which means that in return, he'll be seen as a better player, even though it's because of someone else. So I guess that would make, that kind of makes sense if that is at all what you wanted to say. But that is, is that an issue? No, not really. It depends on how teams are made. Because, well, I mean, I know how teams are made. Because Scott's literally told everyone. There's a balancing sheet for average points or not average points. It's your points that you get every MCC, but more recent MCCs are more valuable. And there's like a multiplier that goes down to the 10 most recent events. So, yes, Grian is probably either underrated when it comes to being put on a team, or just incorrectly rated, maybe even overrated, depending on if his Build Mart performance is factored in as an average, because that's also, it's very dependent on a lot of factors, right? Because Grian, as a leader in Build Mart, is only valuable if the teammates work with Grian. If the teammates, hypothetically, because that doesn't really happen, if the teammates were to ignore him or not listen or just do their own thing, Grian's value is a lot less valuable because his quality doesn't apply to the team. So I guess there could be an incorrect way of determining how good someone is. So this is important. This is especially important quality in S tiers as well that gets overlooked because people mostly just look at team placements, coin averages, and individual placements. Which has the potential to be a catalyst for dodgeball performance. And then making a clutch dominant performance less likely because well-rounded players are overrated by coin averages because of their reduced volatility across games, which means that they are not as consistent at most games than others, which just means... Or is that true? Is that what it means? Hold up. Let me read this again. Because of game multipliers, having an average or bad performance in game 7 or 8 are essentially equal if another team has a pop-off. Yes. Yes, if you compare it to an earlier game, if you factor in the multiplier, I think. Maybe I'm missing something. Thus making well-rounded players overrated. I guess because they don't stand out in one of the games, thus may do worse. But at that point, is that well-rounded? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I understand exactly what you mean here. Overrated in their MCC utility. So how valuable they are, basically, by coin averages. Because of the reduced volatility across games, making a clutch dominant performance less likely. Oh, I'm trying to understand. I think I kind of get it, but I'm not sure. So let's see. Well-rounded players are overrated in their MCC utility by coin averages because of their reduced volatility across games, making a clutch dominant performance less likely. because of the multiplier, but I guess if you look at it on a team basis, God, my brain has never been this active. Hold up. So having a bad performance in games 7 or 8 are essentially equal if another team is a pop-off? Having an average or bad performance in games 7 or 8 are essentially equal if another team is a pop-off. How? I imagine it would be... No, but the way the sentence is formed, it sounds like you mean that an average or bad performance in game 7 or 8 is essentially equal to another team having a pop-off in 7 or 8. Which doesn't make sense. Unless you look at it on an... No, I don't get it. But well-rounded players being overrated in their MCC utility by coin averages... because of their reduced volatility across... Well, isn't volatility... I'm stupid. Isn't volatility an average based on low lows and high highs? I could be wrong. I don't remember. I haven't done math in like 4 years. I guess that could be true. If you mean that because they have really low lows and really high highs, their average is too high for their lows, but then also too low for their highs. So it's fair because it balances out. That's what an average really does. I guess that could be fair. If you say, hey, this person is, let's say, average place of 15th because of their coins. But in all the games except for one, they get 25th, and in the one game, they get first by 500 points. Is it fair to then rank them 10 places higher because of that? Because their average is like that? I guess no. But it's also usually not that extreme. So I guess it is fair. I guess what you could argue for is that Green having an average. So let's say, right, Green playing Build Mart, or Green when Build Mart is in rotation gets 200 coins higher because Build Mart is his game and he does really well at that. So on average, every MCC that Green plays with Build Mart in it, Green will get 200 coins higher. This then applies to his average. But when there's an event that he plays in that doesn't have Build Mart, he will score 200 points lower than the one with Build Mart, which then means that he's being overrated for that specific MCC because the game that he's really, really good at isn't in. Is that fair? No. But also yes. It's hard because in that case, if you say, all right, because that example only works if Green is that much significantly better at specifically Build Mart than the other games, that it becomes a problem, right? It's unfair when you look at it. Wait, I just realized Dream uploaded a video. Anyways, that only becomes a problem if or no, not like that. It's a problem because for Green specifically, you would say, all right, well, we know that Build Mart's not going to be in this season, so we're going to apply a lower average to your score, which in turn means that you'll probably get a better team. However, that's not entirely fair because all-round players or well-rounded players, they probably aren't exceptionally good at one game because that wouldn't really make them well-rounded. So if that one game wouldn't be in, then that should, like, if they're adjusted for that, you get a problem because a well-rounded player suddenly being ranked that many points lower is going to make them really, really strong because they're well-rounded. And having a well-rounded player on a team that's slightly too good is also a catalyst for them, reaching a much higher placement. So I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what you mean. I hope I understood it. Regardless, I hope I gave some insight on your question. Maybe I helped, maybe I didn't. But thank you all for watching. Let me know what you think of this. I'll heart this comment, so it should be at the top. And yeah, let me know what you think. I'll see you all later. Goodbye.